Friends, welcome back to another episode of Heartfirst. I am Efoma.
And I am Jess. Welcome.
Yay!
We were thinking about what we wanted to talk about today, and a subject that has been on our hearts and minds and so many of our friends, people close to us, is how many things feel unknown right now. It's like we're all stepping into the unknown.
Ugh. Yeah, I feel like the space, and I've said this for it feels like you're treading water, or like the gray space, like to put a name to the feeling, the gray space, treading water, or like this in between space, liminal space of just being before you take off, before you take the steps out. That's what it feels like. It's this incubation period. That's my favorite one.
Yes,
it,
yes,
it
that's a
just
great word.
feels like, well, I personally feel like this holding space of incubation. um and it's so wild. Like, in the past, this place used to, I mean, it still can frustrate me so much because
This
I have
place
all
being Earth,
this, well, Earth,
being
that's
in
another whole
this
subject.
blissfully space. Sorry, that's a whole other subject.
I could go on, but yes, that's totally different. But at the
Yeah.
same time, this space, this holding pattern of, like, I know I don't know everything. We don't, none of us do. I see clearly steps I am meant to take to
Mm,
move into my next space of, like, my higher self, my evolution, all that stuff like that. But at the same time, the energy still feels like this holding space where, like, I'm ready, but I still need to hold and pause, if that makes any sense at all.
absolutely. And like as you're sharing that, I'm just thinking about like our listeners, like that could be that's so many different things for so many different people, right?
Oh,
It's
for
like
sure.
maybe like, maybe you're going through a difficult time in your relationship, maybe you're changing jobs, maybe you're thinking about moving, like how many people we know are moving right now, right? So
Hmm.
many shifts that sometimes we want to jump. At least I put myself in this category and I know you. Sometimes I would like to jump into the future because I feel so confident and like I do feel like so optimistic, but like being in the now and creating positive experiences in the now helps open that door even, well, I want to say more quickly, but makes it more expansive somehow. Yeah.
Well, also, to riff on that, there's so much happening behind the scenes that we don't know. So
Yeah.
sometimes if we prematurely jump, maybe something over here still need to work itself out. So when we get to the place beforehand, there's a few more blocks or whatever have you, frustrations and all the things. So yeah, this is like such a, it's always been a lesson. And
Mhm.
what am I trying to
Patience.
say? Thank you.
Patience.
A lesson in patience, and, like, just kind of taking deep breaths and breathing into the now, like you said, into the present moment, being as present as possible, and counting all of my freaking blessings in this moment and letting myself be in that space. And that helps take the edge off of the frustration, and knowing that I'm doing all that I need to be doing to, like, be taking those baby steps forward, right? Building the foundation. If we're thinking of things of a house, like, we're building the foundation of ourselves to get to the next space. That's
Yeah.
kind of where I am.
No, absolutely. And that just makes me think of a mistake. I know, a lesson, let's say. A lesson I've continually made in my life is being a little bit fixed about how I think things are supposed to happen.
Mm,
Maybe, let's say I have a goal, there's something I want to do, um, and I have this idea in my mind, and so I make choices based on that idea naturally. But if we like rush that process, which I've done so many times, I co-created exactly what you're talking about. Like we create blocks because we don't know, we need to allow, or it's ideal if we allow the universe to do her magic, to allow miracles to happen, to allow us to meet the right people at the right time by being more open, I guess. I think
yeah,
so many humans can be, and I absolutely have struggled in the past with this, is wanting all the answers and thinking I know better. When nature, God, universe, source knows better. And, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's such a human thing though, to like instant gratification, wanting everything right now, you know,
Mm-hmm.
versus just being as patient as we can, being in the moment, doing the work that we can do that's in front of us, and still being excited about what's to come, because I think that's important too, the excitement of it, like
Yes.
feeling that like, oh, so for me, I know we're moving soon and it feels like it's so far away, but really it's truly not. And it's going to go by so fast. So I am doing my best to stay in the present moment, to get what I need to get done here, organize things, get rid of things, purge, like figure out what's going to storage, what's all the little minute details, right? And then to also just like, I am so flipping excited about what's coming next and where we're going, and the energy change that I know is going to take place, because it's the energy for me where we're going is has always been just one of it. I feel like it like allows me to be who I am, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like the energy of where we are now, I'm still me, but it feels, the energy overall feels stifling here. It feels like there's a heavy, thick blanket, and not in a good way, on everything around here. And it's fascinating because I'm super a highly sensitive human, and like energy is my first language, and it's always been fascinating to me to like feel what I feel, but then see other humans just going about their day, and I'm just like, oh, I so wish that could be me sometime.
Yeah. But meanwhile, like who knows what's going on in their minds, right? Who
True,
knows?
very true. But
But yeah, no, totally. Yeah. They're
yeah,
more maybe aligned with where they are with the geographically where they are. Maybe that's
yeah.
more in alignment with their soul. Yeah. Girl, I feel you with that. I felt like that. And I always feel weird saying this about Paris because of so many Americans have this love affair with Paris, which is such a beautiful place and yada yada. But there's always, I similarly had this feeling of like, it just takes me a little or a lot more energy to be me in
Mm-hmm.
certain places. And it just does. Like, that's a real thing, how our souls experience life, how we experience life in certain different places. Like, even astrologically, I am the furthest thing from an expert, but yeah, certain parts of us are ignited in different places. And for sure, Korea, from everything you've said, it just brings up this, I don't know, maybe your inner child, like your wonder and joy and excitement.
I
So,
don't know what it is, and there's so many layers to everything. I mean, part of it, like I'm the daughter of an immigrant, so my dad he came from Nigeria, and he's always been like, you need to travel. So I have this like innate thing inside of me. I love being in other cultures that are not what's normal for me, because of the way I grow, how it pushes me out of my comfort zone. Um, and honestly, it's just so stinking cool to like be on this earth with so many, like, humans essentially are all the same except of our cultures and our lineage and where we come from. So how cool is it that we get to like go, I call it going through portals, and getting to like be in somebody else's culture, and like just taking it all in, and like I just waking up there feels so magical and different to me versus waking up anywhere in the United States, because the United States to me, I've born and raised here, right? Like,
mhm.
and especially after traveling and like seeing the world, America feels all the same. No matter where you go, it feels all the same on some level. There's
Except
always
New
a wall.
York. Just
New
kidding.
York, yes, but then also there's always like a Walgreens, and there's always plazas, like you know what I mean? And like it is what it is, and I'm very grateful. I love America in a lot of ways, but also I'm excited for the different. I'm excited for the new. I am excited to completely be taken out of what's normal for me and being put in this place where I don't know the language well. I don't know. All of it feels magical as fuck, and I'm
Right.
so excited for it.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think travel is, I mean, it's a blessing, something to be grateful for, and just it expands us in like all the ways. It's amazing. It's Anyway, but coming back to this idea of like waiting periods and like finding joy in our present moments despite everything going on in the world, not despite,
Mm.
but because what's going on, a spiritual awakening, right? We're waking up, we're increasing our compassion, we're waking up to the corruption of our governments and all this ugly stuff. So like just thinking about ways that we can empower ourselves and stay at our highest vibration regardless of what we learn is happening or inflation or whatever's going on within your family or your city or the world, like just how do we stay and keep ourselves at a high vibration, you know?
Well, for me, stop watching the news. Like,
Yeah.
that's the first thing because one, a lot of it's propaganda. A lot of it's just spewing the same stories and it's highly biased. It's just highly biased. So stop watching the news. And if you need to know what's going on, there are so many other resources that you can tap into and then get what you need to get and then move the F away because it's designed to bring you down and keep you afraid and keep you disempowered because it's easier for people to do things when we're disempowered, right?
Exactly.
People, meaning governments and
To
big entities.
divide us, yeah, to keep us hating each other, to empower,
Exactly.
yeah, to disempower us, yeah. Yeah, I
And
so
then, oh, go
agree.
ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say other things to help keep you kind of grounded in the present moment, in the now. Little things of joy, like just little things that you love, like make yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, but relish being in that moment with it. Like that's one of my favorite things. I love the act of making tea and then sitting down to drink it. I don't know why it makes me so excited, but there's that. I started coloring recently.
Yeah,
That's
I
been
love
fun.
that. Yeah. Wait, where do you get your coloring book? I love the
I
coloring
actually
instructions.
just looked on Amazon and scrolled
Mhm.
through like what felt good and I'm like, okay, this looks good, but you could probably get it at any bookstore, Barnes and Nobles.
Yeah.
Um, the closest Barnes and Nobles to me is like 30 minutes away, so Amazon. I don't even know if there's any books. There has to be some bookstores where I live, but I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, make your favorite foods, like try out new recipes, find new uplifting communities on social media. Like social media is a lot of things, but there is so much inherent beauty and magic in social media at
Yeah.
how it connects us all and the fact that you can get real life updates of really what's going on from
Mhm.
actual humans and people who are not biased. That's a
And
big
all
thing.
totally, totally. And like, don't be afraid. Something I've recently been doing because I was getting so upset by everything. I'll put certain accounts that I follow and that I love and who I appreciate on mute for a few days. Honestly, for my own well-being, because I care so much. I could literally wake up crying and go to bed crying. Like, it's like, or angry. And it's like finding ways to, do everything you can to help like you're saying, whether it's adult coloring or cooking or meditation or going for a run or whatever those things are for you, like limiting your phone usage in general, and following accounts like, the good news movement or good, or there's funny stupid shit that makes you laugh, like
Mhm.
humor matters and humor is healing. It's not a way of, you know ignoring, but just check yourself. Like, are you doing okay? Like sometimes we're low and we have this idea, at least myself sometimes, of course, like I love writing. So for me, it's like writing music, I've that vibe. But sometimes you're just like, I just feel so heavy and so low. And like, I need to like just not be on my phone. And it doesn't last very long, but it would be great if it did. I know it would help.
Yeah, I definitely I have such an addiction to my phone and
Yeah.
I've been actively like trying like putting it down, I put it face down, I move and
Yes.
do things. Um it kind of sucks though because like I just love it so much but I also work from it. So it's like how do I find the balance? Balance is a big word in my life. I feel like that is ultimately you know how some themes just stay with you throughout a life, for me, a lifetime.
Mhm.
Balance has been that word, that theme, that energy that has just followed me throughout my entire life. And it's just because I'm working on it now and I'm much better with it now. But I used to be this person like, oh, I'm gonna go all in head first, and then I end
Yeah.
up burning and crashing. And
Yep.
I did that repetitively. And why it just didn't sink in right away, But I can be headstrong and
No,
stubborn
yeah, and that's a beautiful quality in so many ways. Like
until
even
you use it wrong.
exactly, exactly. Until something happens. You either get
Yeah.
injured or like sick or something, right? Um, Even with Heartfirst, this is not such a great example, but we wanted to share these episodes. Originally, it was weekly, and then the first few times we recorded, we were like, "Oh my god, this is so fun! We can just do this all day long, every day, and we could do two." I was even thinking maybe we'll do three a week. We had this idea, and then literally, we have, I don't know, probably 10 episodes so far. Saved. This is episode 4. So like last week, I don't know, of course we're getting more organized about how we share these, like posting and editing the thumbnails for YouTube and whatnot. But we're like, wait, why are we making ourselves crazy when we could just do this once a week? We can record for fun twice a week, see what we like, and like make life easier in the long run. Like just build consistency,
Is
consistency and balance. Yes.
Oh, consistency is a big one for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you and Eli, my husband, in my life, because Eli is like Capricorn. He's all earth. You're
Mhm.
very earthy and very grounding. And in my chart, I am mostly like air, water, fire,
Mm.
and tiny little bit of earth. So it's pretty easy for me to just be like, let's play, and not have that grounding element. And like the people closest to me, I am so wildly grateful for, because through this, it's kept me consistent doing other things, right? Like I'm now consistently working out, which is so exciting, just moving my body. I'm consistently, for me, I need to track my calories and macros, which I honestly hate, but I'm learning so much through it.
Mhm.
And I think it's really important because I had no clue. I was either severely undereating or then
Mhm.
I'd overeat, and there was no balance. There was no in between. So through the consistency of tracking that stuff, it's giving me balance. But again, I mean, will it be forever? Probably not. I'll probably get used to it and like no. I don't know, but you guys keep me grounded. You guys keep me balanced, and I'm so deeply grateful because otherwise I would just be flying off into the ethers with no tether.
Well, that's beautiful too. That's beautiful. It's all beautiful. I
It,
mean,
it is, but I think for me to be a functioning adult and human in our society, I
mhm.
need to have a tether.
Yeah, and to grow, to
Exactly.
expand. Yeah. Because we're both you and I, and so many of our listeners, no doubt, we are all in this period of like, it's like what we're talking about, the unknown, balance, consistency. We are in this period of expansion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just as the whole world is waking, not the whole world. I want the whole world to wake up, but so many people are waking up in their awareness and consciousness and this awakening of love. Like we are each of us expanding. If you're listening to this or watching this, you are part of that expansion. Like if Oma's going to expand differently than I'm going to expand, it's differently than you're going to expand. But like the more aware we are of our gifts, the more aware we are of what lights up our hearts, the
Mm-hmm.
more we find balance in the midst of our excitement and, the feeling that joy of a 5-year-old, like finding that it's just, I can feel that in my soul. Like that's so powerful right now.
Even trying to find balance amidst, like during chaos, is
Yes.
super important too, because we all know life will throw everything sometimes at us at
Mhm.
the same time,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And trying to find that type of balance or that grounding in the middle of it all, because cannot we don't always have wow, what am I trying to say? We cannot always control what's happening to us, but we can control how we like show up in the moment. So
Mhm.
like for me, I kind of go back to the same things. Like if I'm in the middle of all that chaos, first I'll spin around in it for a little bit because sometimes
Yeah, you gotta
I
feel
just get caught up or it has to be part of it. And then when I can take myself out of it in deep breath, usually it's because I've talked to somebody who's safe and who's a good trusted confidant in my life, and that helps bring me down and ground me. And then I just, I breathe into it. I kind of let go, I surrender, and I breathe into that moment of chaos, and I'm able to find some type of grip and some type of grounding. So I'll do a lot of the similar practices I do during the unknown, during the chaos as well, because otherwise, and I think it's so important to touch on this because right now our world is so crazy and so insanely chaotic. Like
it.
the world is what it is right now, and it can be so very easy to get swept up in that. But what I think this energy is calling for, aside from feeling it, but then also digging into yourself and reaching into that self-love point, right? And then like really grounding into that energy because we're helping to not only expand ourselves, but as we do this on individual bases, it really is a big ripple effect and it's going to move out through the collective because we're anchoring into that self love. We're anchoring into these small moments of light and grounding and these practices that we can do. So we're not getting swept up and tossed and tumbled with that chaos, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why like having like what you're saying about having people who you feel safe with, people, and there might only be one person and that's okay. And that person might not be near you geographically. I know I've touched on this in a previous episode, I think, but just having community. And if you don't have that community right now, may we be that community for you.
Yeah. You guys are all welcome. This is such a judgment free, loving zone. And I'm so glad that you said that because I was about to say a lot of my journey has felt very isolating and alone. And I feel like I'm only recently coming into beautiful, this almost makes me want to cry, really beautiful and heartfelt community and connections. But a lot of my community that I was building for myself were just people I was finding on YouTube or social media that I
Yeah.
just really resonated with and they just I felt held being in their energy. And so if you have nobody around you and if you cannot find community, we're here obviously, but there
Mhm.
are resources or people, just humans being human and being beautiful on social media and on YouTube. So,
Yeah, sometimes our support, I know this is also a theme. Uh, a lot of times our support is not coming from who we expect.
mhm.
Sometimes our families aren't able to be that support. Sometimes friends who were our friends a few years ago or a few months ago, we're all in different spaces with this stuff. So just knowing that you are supported and trusting, I mean, aside from the fact that you're never actually alone because you have so much spiritual support, but sometimes our when we lose friends, we've we open doors to new paths, to new people, and whether it's a YouTube page or an Instagram friend. I mean, I have people I consider my friends who are on Instagram, and maybe we've shared a moment, maybe during COVID, during the Black Lives Matter, that during this period, I think that year awakened, 2020 awakened a lot. And right now, the same things are happening, right? But just finding people who share your values and what you care about, and knowing that it's okay to have all the feels, and returning to optimism somehow, faith, and this inner knowing that we are, despite everything we're seeing and experiencing, heading in toward this energy of universal love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So beautifully put, my friend.
Oh, I was just thinking of someone I'm friends with on Instagram who's going through a hard time right now. I feel like he's like my little brother or something. Maybe past life he was. But as another artist soul, just you can have moments, and not that it requires being an artist, because we're all artists creating, right? Our lives, being open, I think, is being an artist.
Mm,
And just he was expressing to me how he was feeling meaningless, and he can't afford to pay his bill, just these very real life things that everyone is dealing with. And even whatever the things are, everyone's got them. Even if they appear to have this like perfect life, everyone has their shit. And if they don't, maybe they have, maybe their life is a recovery life or something. They're just, it's okay. But most people do. You just don't know
Yeah,
it.
it's true.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say. I would say almost all of us.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's got to be all of us. Otherwise, why are we here? Unless we're here to have a recovery life that Dolores Cannon talks about
Oh,
from,
well,
yeah, we talk about her in like every other episode.
I
If you
love
don't know her, you'll love her.
Yes, you can find all of her work like everywhere. YouTube, I'm
Yeah.
sure, social
Yeah.
media. Dolores Cannon. We should put links down
Yeah.
wherever.
I
And
think
then,
her YouTube is still on. I think the other day I looked at it, someone, whoever's doing her YouTube is doing a great job. It's like I think it's on permanently on 24-hour live. Like someone has, because she has so much live material that whoever's taking care of it is like whenever you go there, there's like something live happening. I hope
she,
that remains true. But I'm like, yes, people are waking up because a few years ago, this was definitely not the case.
I love it.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, thank you, beautiful souls, for being with us today.
Yes, as always, email us at heartfirst.podcast@gmail.com if you have any questions, just want to chat, want to get to know us, or just be in community. And we're on social media as well. Right now we have Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. No,
Uh, Not yet.
not yet. And we are still waiting on TikTok. That was a mistake I made.
She made the birth date, the birth date of our episode, the birthday of our account, so she's got all the child privacy features. I
So
love that.
TikTok thinks Heartfirst at podcast is a child. And now I have to wait a
Well,
while.
she kind of is a child. It's like, but we're the parent. Can we be the parent of the child and like make it work?
Yeah, I emailed them. I don't even know how to contact these people. I emailed them. I'm waiting for an email. I will continue to annoy them so
Yeah.
that way. And I think they said that you have to wait 30 days for the name to be cleared anyways. So maybe then we'll set it up.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Right, right now, I want to be on TikTok, even though I mean I have an account, but I like never log in. Right now, I want to be on since I saw this awful thing. This awful. Did you see I think it's the founder of TikTok. He's from Singapore and he's being questioned. It's like super racist. They're
Oh my.
like, "Are you Chinese?" Like it's like it's so horrific and insulting.
So
Oh,
like I feel like I'm at the point.
I feel like I'm watching a movie. Like that can't be real.
All of it feels like a movie, and like it's not funny that this is happening, but
Wow.
the audacity of that man who just could not see past his own racism. It's almost weirdly comical at this point that he are what? Like
Yeah.
my brain cannot understand. I get it. No, I can get it, but it's also hard for me as a human who just loves so deeply that this is part of our reality, honestly. Like it
Yeah.
just feels
It's like a Saturday Night Live skit, like
it
from
does.
like
It does.
literally. I'm like, okay, where's like this is a joke, right? This is not real
Yeah.
life.
Or
Like,
like punked.
yeah, exactly.
It's like what
Yeah.
is this?
Anyway, we love you. Feel free to reach out. Heartfirst dot. Oh, you already said it. Heartfirst.podcast@gmail. Give us your suggestions for topics. We will have guests on as well. Super excited for that.
Yeah, we don't know when. We're just literally flowing with this.
Yeah,
We're moving into the unknown, but doing what feels good in the moment.
yeah. We are practicing what we just talked about in this episode.
I know. I just realized that. I'm like, oh, look at us doing that.
Oh, chills, chills. I love it. All
We
right.
love you so much.
Love you and see you soon. Bye. So you're bye.